check, hello.
Felicitation is inspiration to others and motivation to whom you are felicitating. A very good evening to all. I'm Christiana Taylor, Principal of St. Joseph's PU College for Girls, South Gully, your host for this evening. Let us all rise and put our hands together for our dignitaries of today's program, which is honoring of meritorious Catholic students. A very warm welcome to our President, His Excellency, Most Reverend Dr. K.A. William, the Bishop of Mysore. Our chief guest for this evening, Most Reverend Dr. Sebastian Yeryantrath, Bishop of Mandya. Guests of honor, Most Reverend Dr. Thomas Anthony Valapalli, Emeritus Bishop, Diocese of Mysore. Reverend Father Vijay Kumar, the Secretary and Correspondent of MDES. Reverend Father Joseph Pakiraj, Chancellor, Diocese of Mysore. Reverend Father Bernard Prakash, Rector, St. Philomena's College, Mysore. Dignitaries, I request you to occupy your seats in front of the dais. Thank you, dignitaries. Kindly be seated. It is indeed a pleasure to gather once again for the ceremony of honoring and felicitating of our meritorious Catholic students who have excellent results in their respective grades of study. This award ceremony is organized every year by the Diocese of Mysore. Today, 20th of January 2022, we will be awarding toppers of Standard 10th, pre-university, undergraduation, post-graduation, professional courses, and PhDs for the academic year 2020-21. Honoring of meritorious Catholic students for various parishes of the Diocese of Mysore was a noble initiative taken in the year 2012 by Most Reverend Dr. Thomas Anthony Valapalli, the former Bishop of Mysore, and Reverend Father Thomas Beckett de Souza, the then Secretary and Correspondent of MDES. This tradition is continued every year. very systematically and effectively by His Excellency, Most Reverend Dr. K.A. William, the Bishop of Mysore, and Reverend Father Vijay Kumar, the Secretary and Correspondent of MDES. Even though the Diocese of Mysore has been awarding scholarships, financial assistance, and concessions to the needy students, this bold initiative has got much appreciation from all the stakeholders of education. It is an endeavor on the part of Diocese of Mysore to identify, acknowledge, encourage, and help Catholic students for their academic accomplishments. This has gone a long way in inspiring and motivating the students to go to greater heights. To invoke God's blessings, we have the students of St. Joseph's First Grade College, Jayalakshmipuram, with an invocation dance. transmode by the students of St. Joseph's First Grade College. I'm sure God will continue to bless us all on this special day and the days to come. Talents and skill are the crops that are nurtured, groomed, and given all possible opportunities to grow and bloom. Felicitation is the celebration of the harvest of this crop. This is a much awaited event in every student's life, as it gives the return of the efforts put in by the students throughout their academic endeavor. It is a day full of joy, of pride and accomplishment, and a day of celebration. It gives a sense of achievement and a sense of responsibility towards fulfilling their future commitments. In the backdrop of the ongoing pandemic, we meet once again but virtually. We would have loved to have our achievers come forward and share their glory with us. However, the physical honoring of the students will take place at the parish level. The certificates and checks will be forwarded to the respective parish priests, who will, on behalf of the diocese, honor such meritorious students in the parish church. Jesus said, "I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will never walk in darkness, but will have the light of life." I request Reverend Father Vijay Kumar, the Secretary and Correspondent of MDS, to escort our dignitaries to the dais to light the lamp to signify God's presence among us.
ಕಡೆಗೆ ಮನವು ಅರಳಿತು ಕ್ರಿಸ್ತನೆಡೆಗೆ ಬೆಳಕು ಹರಿಯಿತು ಭುವಿಯ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಮನವು ಅರಳಿತು ಕ್ರಿಸ್ತನೆಡೆಗೆ ಭುವಿಗೆ ಬಂದ ಯೇಸು ಕ್ರಿಸ್ತ
Mrs. Annie Jayashila, Assistant Professor, St. Joseph's College of Education, will come forward to read from the Holy Bible, followed by Mrs. Shirley Anthony, Assistant Professor, St. Joseph's College for Women, will read the Prayer of the Faithful.
A reading from the Holy Bible, Proverbs 3, verses 13 to 18. Happy is the person who finds wisdom, the one who gets understanding. Wisdom is worth more than silver. It brings more profit than gold. Wisdom is more precious than rubies. Nothing you could want is equal to it. With her right hand, wisdom offers you a long life, and with her left hand, she gives you riches and honor. Wisdom will make your life pleasant and will bring you peace. As a tree produces fruit, wisdom gives life to those who use it. and everyone who uses it will be happy. The word of the Lord. Thanks be to God.
Your response, Lord, hear our prayer. Lord, hear our prayer. Almighty God and Father, we thank you for this day at the Diocese of Mysore and pray for your abundant graces and blessing on Most Reverend Dr. K. A. William, the Bishop of Mysore. Strengthen him in carrying out his duties for the glory of your kingdom. We also ask you to bless all the former bishops who have worked in fulfilling your wishes through MDS. Let us pray to the Lord.
Lord, hear our prayers.
We pray for Most Reverend Dr. Sebastian Yedyendrath, the Bishop of Mandya, the chief guest of this day's function, and Most Reverend Dr. Thomas Valapilli, Bishop Emeritus, Diocese of Mysore. Grant them good health and keep them in your loving care always. Let us pray to the Lord. Lord, hear our prayers. We pray for the Secretary and Correspondent of MDES, Reverend Father Vijay Kumar, and all the correspondents of schools and colleges, the parish priest of the Diocese of Mysore. They all need your love and guidance. Lord, bless them. Let us pray to the Lord.
Lord, hear our prayer.
Lord, be gracious in showering your abundant blessings on the teachers and all those involved in the field of education who work hard in the formation of faith, character of our young minds. Let us pray to the Lord. Lord, hear our prayer. We pray especially for our dear students and their parents, that they may follow the path of righteousness which lead to your greater glory. Let us pray to the Lord.
Lord, hear our prayer.
For the eradication of COVID and safety of all human beings, and also for world peace, let us pray to the Lord.
Lord, hear our prayer.
Yes, prayer is the most powerful recourse to God. Thank you, dignitaries. Kindly be seated. Reverend Father Vijay Kumar, the Secretary and Correspondent of MDES, will now formally welcome the honored guests, dignitaries, and viewers. Over to you, Father.
ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. May the Lord's name be glorified. At the very outset, I wish to extend a very warm welcome to you all. An optimistic mind navigates a healthy body, and an optimistic vision develops a successful future. Dear friends and distinguished guests, I wish you a wonderful evening. It is my humble honor and distinct privilege to welcome you in this evening to the grand award ceremony of honoring the meritorious Catholic students of Mysore Diocese. It is my great pleasure to share with all of you here the joy and achievement of our outstanding young talents at the felicitation of meritorious Catholic students. The felicitation of meritorious Catholic students is an annual event. The Diocese of Mysore holds fast to its heart the merit and excellence of achievers and ensures that we celebrate their achievements every year. Dear awardees, the Church is proud of you and vests our trust in your future. Thanks to the generous support from His Excellency, Most Reverend Dr. K. A. William, the Bishop of Mysore. The bygone years have been challenging and are now continuing to be so. Yet, we have survived the catastrophe with conviction and faith. Learners have been learning, leaning towards diligence, and thence proved victorious. Today, with the rising sun, we rose to a day of magnificence, for we have the great and learned personalities with us to make this evening more memorable and meaningful. A notion of victory is a way of our hearts feel contented that what more do we expect? If we always have a motivator to motivate our thoughts and actions, such is our loving and caring leader and shepherd, the President, Most Reverend Dr. K. A. William, the Bishop of Mysore. He has been the forefront to boost the confidence of thousands and thousands of meritorious students down through many years. Foremost, with high regards to His Excellency, I humbly extend my warm welcome to Most Reverend Dr. K. William, the Bishop of Mysore. A hearty welcome to you, dear Lordship. I request Fathers Christopher and Avinas to do the honor. Once again, a hearty welcome to you, dear Lordship. I am immensely privileged to welcome our chief guest of the day, Most Reverend Dr. Sebastian Adayantrat, Bishop of Mandya, who generously accepted our invitation and is with us amidst his busy schedule. I humbly request His Excellency to occupy the chair for felicitation. Bishop Sebastian Adayantrat was born on April 1957 in Kerala. After his primary and secondary education, he joined the Sacred Heart Minor Seminary of the Archdiocese of Ernakulam, Angamali on July 1, 1973. He completed his philosophical and theological studies at the Papal Seminary, Pune in 1983 and was ordained priest on December 18, 1983. Later, Father Sebastian obtained his master's degree in theology from Gnanadeepa Vidyapita, Pune. During his priestly ministry in the Archdiocese, he has served as parish priest and secretary to the late Cardinal Anthony Padiara. His most pioneering assignment was an executive director of Save a Family Plan in Canada. He has been serving in this capacity for the last 14 years with utmost commitment and sincerity. His appointment as Auxiliary Bishop of Ernakulam, Angamali, and Tutelar Bishop of Macriana was announced on February 4, 2002. Bishop Adayantrat was appointed as the Bishop of Syro-Malabar Diocese of Mandya by the Holy Synod of Syro-Malabar Catholic Church and Pope Francis on August 30, 2019. Dear Lordship, we are extremely happy to have you as our chief guest for the day. We extend an affable welcome to you. I invite His Excellency Most Reverend Dr. K. William and all the dignitaries on the dais to felicitate His Excellency Most Reverend Dr. Sebastian Adayantrat. Today, His Lordship celebrates his feast, so we wish you also a very happy feast. Dear Lordship, may your patron saint, Saint Sebastian, be with you in all that you take up as part of your ministry. Happy feast. Thank you, dear Lordship and dear dignitaries. I take this stretch to loud and welcome you, Your Excellency, once again. I am immensely privileged to welcome His Lordship, Most Reverend Dr. Thomas Anthony Vallapalli, Bishop Emeritus, Diocese of Mysore. He is the shining example of one who gives of himself for others. His Lordship was instrumental in instituting the awards for our Catholic students in recognition of their excellent performance in academics. We extend an affable welcome to you, dear Lordship. This evening is more solemn with the gracious presence of Reverend Father Pakiraj, the Chancellor of the Diocese, and Reverend Dr. Bernard Prakash Barnes, the Rector of St. Philomena's Autonomous College, Mysore. Welcome, dear fathers. I extend a gracious welcome to Reverend Father Avinash, the Administrator, Mysore Diocese Educational Society, Reverend Father Pravin Kumar, Priest in Charge, St. Joseph's College for Women, Sathgalli, and St. Matthias Institution, Reverend Father Christopher, Priest in Charge of St. Joseph Central Schools, Vijayanagar and Ilwal, Reverend Father Arugya Anthony, Priest in Charge of St. Joseph's Institutions, Rajivnagar, Reverend Father Saji, Procurator of the Diocese of Mandya, Reverend Father John Paul, the Campus Administrator, St. Philomena's College, and all the correspondents, parish priests who are virtually present in their respective places. Dear fathers, your constant love and support to all the eye prospectus of MDS makes us to feel that we are different parts of the same body. A lovely welcome to you all, dear fathers. It's my turn to extend a gracious and inclusive welcome to our Chief Executive Officers of MDES, Mrs. Joyce Lobo, CEO for St. Joseph's and Matthias Institutions, Mr. Moses Jayashekhar, CEO of MDS, and Mr. Sebi Mabeli, CEO for Training and Development Wing, MDES. It's your sense of commitment which creates an apt platform for us to grow, both academically and spiritually. A hearty welcome to you, dear CEOs. Dear awardees, it's your day. You are the stars of this evening. The entire diocese is proud of your commendable academic performance achieved through your dedicated hard work and self-motivation. I'm sure that together with us, your parents, dear and near ones, friends and relatives are convinced of your strengths and believe that you will continue to bring laurels to the church and the nation. And the best of you is yet to come. Today, you stand as the role models to all students. Dear achievers, the Diocese of Mysore would like to honor your academic passion. With a heart full of appreciation for you, I wholeheartedly welcome all of you to this virtual event. We have the parents and relatives, the friends and the teachers of our awardees who have enthusiastically joined us virtually in different parts of the world with different time zones to witness this award ceremony. We are so glad that you are part of this celebration. Welcome, dear friends. I would like to specially welcome the coordinators of this event, the technical support team, and the media personnel who ensure that all this evening goes in favor of our joy and excitement. Once again, I congratulate all the winners of the awards on their outstanding achievements and remarkable personal growth. I have no doubt that every one of you will excel in your future roles and contribute to the future well-being of society, our nation, and the world at large. But do always bear in mind that the key to success in life is not to get ahead of other people, but to get ahead of ourselves. I am sure the felicitation of meritorious Catholic students would continue to be an opportunity to celebrate the remarkable achievements of our students in the years to come. Many of you have made a huge effort to join us today. On behalf of us all, we are deeply appreciative and offer you our most graceful welcome once again. I hope you will have a pleasant evening. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, Reverend Father Vijay Kumar, for your pleasant welcome. I extend a warm welcome to you too, dear Father. Yes, the most awaited moment. Now it is time to acknowledge the achievements of the meritorious students. To begin, we start with felicitating the Catechism toppers of Standard 10th. I thank Reverend Monsignor C. Rayappa and Reverend Father Susai for having organized and conducted the Catechism exams across the diocese. We know for sure your efforts in faith building among the young generation will be fruitful. I request Mrs. Annie Jayashila to announce the names of the Catechism awardees. Over to you, ma'am.
Catechism is a summary of the principles of Christian religion used for religious instructions. It's been a unique practice of the Mysore Diocese to encourage Christian faith by honoring the rank holders of the Catechism exam being conducted by the diocese every year in English, Kannada and Tamil medium Christian schools. Here are the results of the year 2020-21. We start with the Kannada medium. Praneeth Menezes, son of Mr. Patrick Menezes and Mrs. Celine Divya Lobo, 100% first rank in SSLC Catechism exam. Dishal Morris, daughter of Mr. Harry Morris and Mrs. Mary D'Souza, 99% second rank in SSLC Catechism exam. Lishon Dias, son of Mr. Hubert Dias and Mrs. Sovereign D'Souza, 98% third rank SSLC Catechism exam. From the English medium, Sona Rosita, daughter of Mr. Susai Arokyam and Mrs. Mary Stella, 99% first rank SSLC Catechism exam. Maria Liansha, daughter of Mr. G. Martin Leo and Mrs. Rupashri R, 97% second rank SSLC Catechism exam. Daisy, daughter of Mr. Vimal Raj and Mrs. Vimala Rani, 94% third rank SSLC Catechism exam. From the Tamil medium, Geeta M, daughter of Mr. Matthias and Mrs. Amuda, 100% first rank SSLC Catechism exam. Infant Sharmila A, daughter of Mr. Anthony Swami and Mrs. Jebamale Mary, 99% second rank SSLC Catechism exam. Abhishek, son of Mr. Perumal and Mrs. Shanti, 97% third rank SSLC Catechism exam. Congratulations to all the rank holders.
Amongst us, we have Most Reverend Dr. Sebastian Yedendrat, Bishop of Mandya. I request His Excellency to address the gathering.
Good evening. It is nice to be here. Most Reverend K. William, our Bishop, Dr. Thomas Varapalli, Emeriti Bishop, Father Vijay Kumar, the rest of the fathers on the dais, fathers and my dear friends. As soon as I walked in, I felt at home because it is a homey atmosphere where there's a lot of love and affection. And we have gathered here for a noble cause, trying to reach out to students who have done well in their studies, to encourage them. During the COVID times, we may say, it is a shot on the shoulder. Give them encouragement. And today people ask, all over the world and especially in India, education is getting more and more commercialized. And why the Catholic Church is still holding on to schools and colleges and spend a lot of human energy educating people. The answer can be found, probably a letter from Abraham Lincoln. These things have become more common now because of the Facebook and WhatsApp. a small letter he wrote to the class teacher when his son was joining the school. He wrote to the class teacher, thank you very much for taking care of my son. I want you to treat him as a prince. And I'm sure, being the son of the president, you try your level best to educate him and teach him to become the best. That's fine. But that's not my concern. Abraham Lincoln said, my concern is this: having been educated and become the best, in the eyes of the world, I want him to grow in human values. For him, it was a mode of a Judeo-Christian values: generosity, hospitality, care for one another, service, understanding, tolerance, building the peace, and so on and so forth. And probably that is what the Catholic institutions are trying to do. In today's world, we call it's a value addition. You provide education, you provide the building, you provide the infrastructure. But beside and beyond all that, there is a value-added thing. What is that? We want the students to grow in the human values. Trust in God, trust in the human person, and the recent years, care for the nature, the world, the Mother Earth. The Pope would say our home, caring for it, living in it, and grooming it, and living a good world as we say goodbye to this world for the generations to come. In my own experience, I would like to share with you, I have met doctors working in government hospitals, they are salaried people. They take a portion of their salary, a good portion, and provide medication for the patients, those who are coming to the hospital. Because if you go to the medical college in Mandya, people, those who flock there, are not the richest in our society. They are the poor. They are the destitute. They are the widows. They are the sick children. And these doctors, they would sit any amount of time looking at the OP, sometimes taking more than 100 patients. Where does this come from? We often ask, They could go home and they could have their own personal visits with people, make money. No, they don't want to do that. And as a doctor, they get a lot of samples. The medical representatives will bring the samples. They keep them in a cupboard in Almera. And as soon as they see some of the patients who are not able to afford many of these things, they take it out and give to them. This is what we call as value addition. He has done well. If somebody is practicing medicine in a government college, he has not come through a payment seat, but he has done well in his studies. But he carries some values, and that's what we aim here. I have met engineers, to tell you the truth, spend a lot of time drawing small houses for the poor, people from the villages. And they will finally ask you, what do we owe you? They say nothing. Just say a prayer, that I may do well, that I may not lose this hospitality for people. That's what we call as value addition. I have met police officers, not very high up in the ranks, but people in the normal police stations, trying their best to settle the conflicts as they come to the police station. And being nice to people, because, everyone is so afraid of the police station. People come, they make them comfortable. Take it easy. Okay, we'll handle that. That's what we call as value addition. So in every sphere of life, there is a way you deeply become human. You discover the humanness within. And that's what this is all about. And even though the students are not here, we really miss them. When they come, their chatter and their laughter, make this even beautiful. But we can't have it today. But I'm sure that when they gather as a parish community, the priest will call them up, honor them, give the gift, give the certificate, and I am sure that will be appreciated. And as we share this video, we want to tell them, we trust in you. We love you very much, our students. We want you to go out and build a better world, sometimes better than what we have done. We can honestly say, we didn't do a good job. Ours was a time when the capitalism was growing, and the whole earth was nuded. But you know about the impacts of all that, all what is happening. Build a better world. Be a just person. If Father William has given that money to you, it has come from a generous hand, through the hard work of someone. And go out, be the one to support somebody in your life. Make it as a point. Take care of a person who's a disabled one, or mentally challenged, or elderly destitute. Be a hospitable person. And above all, like the chief ministers often say in their speech, whether you are in the public service or private service, every file that you handle, whether it is in a hospital, or an engineer's office, or in a police station, wherever it is, you are talking of a life. With a deep respect, we approach the human persons. I am extremely glad, I am from Kerala, and I am deeply touched by the reception that you give for the guest. It's beautiful. It's colorful. And thank you also for Bishop William for inviting me to be here. We learn. And also, as I go back to Mandya, I become more and more hopeful, because we know there are people, those who are concerned about others. Thank you so much. And students, all the best for you. Sometimes they may call it a rat race. It's not really a rat race. You make it deeply human. Understand yourself, your own values, and grow internally. You know what? Become strong people, because the storms of life is waiting for you. As they come, with your generosity, with your hospitality, and above all, with your deep faith in God. A deep faith in God. Even the storms will turn out to be winds. Winds that will carry you along to a situation, to a life where you feel fulfilled, where you're happy. I came to know Mysore Diocese has got more than 150 schools and colleges. Wonderful. May the work continue. May the process continue. And if there are teachers, don't be disheartened. Times are tough. Not because of COVID, because of the way the society is coming up. Hold on. Be courageous. You are doing a wonderful ministry. You are grooming. We are grooming tomorrow. And be proud when you go back at the end of the day, tired, exhausted, sometimes heartbroken. Know that by your words, by your actions, you have touched someone. Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you, Your Lordship, for throwing light on the importance of value-based education and faith in God. Your words have inspired us, especially the young minds. It is truly a moment to swell with pride when you hear your name being called out and your picture lighting up on the screen. We now proudly announce the achievers for the academic year 2021 parish-wise. Now we will be felicitating the top scorers of the parishes of Chamrajnagar district. I request Mrs. Annie Jaishila and Dr. Anto Richard to announce the names of the awardees of various parishes of Chamrajnagar district.
Mary Mother of God Parish, Jakkalli, Chamrajnagar. Cyril Stalin Chinnappan K, son of Mr. Kulandai Swami and Mrs. Teresa, 85% SSLC. Eromia, son of Mr. Solomon Sagairaj and Mrs. Amala Pushparani, 88% SSLC. Sandanam Shalini L, daughter of Mr. Lucas R and Mrs. Pasca Mary, 88% SSLC. G. Arogya Johnson, son of Mr. George Anthony and Mrs. Madalayammal, 90% SSLC. Namita P, daughter of Mr. Papanna and Mrs. Gauramma, 86% PUC. Joyce Salomi K, daughter of Mr. Kulandai Swami and Mrs. Kulandai Teresa, 89% PUC. Sister Anthony Mary M, daughter of Mr. Muthu Manikyam and Mrs. Christina, 96% DLED. Lima Rose M, daughter of Mr. Madalai Sagayaraj, MCom, 76%. Congratulations to all the awardees of Mary Mother of God Parish, Jakkalli. St. Anthony's Parish, Kaudalli. Alpha Apostolin P, daughter of Mr. Pakyam Periyanayagammal, 90% SSLC. Congratulations, Alpha. St. Francis Xavier Parish, Jallipalyam. Vimala Jayanti S, daughter of Mr. Sesuraj and Mrs. Pushpa, 90% SSLC. Jasmine Fati M, daughter of Mr. Madalai Swami and Mrs. Maria Rose, 88% SSLC. Salit Mary A, daughter of Mr. Anthony Swami and Mrs. Arul Mary, 76% B.Ed. Rexy Clementina G, daughter of Mr. Gabriel S and Mrs. Velankani Chelvi S, 88% B.Com. Louis Christian S, son of Mr. Selvanayagam and Mrs. Madalayammal, 94.5% Diploma. Congratulations to all the awardees of St. Francis Xavier Parish, Jallipalyam. St. Louis Parish, Prakashpalya. Ranjita A, daughter of Mr. Anthony Raj and Mrs. Eliza, 92% SSLC. Marin Varsha, daughter of Mr. Susai Anthony and Mrs. Sagaya Mary, 91% SSLC. Aloysius Cletus T, son of Mr. Thomas and Mrs. Madalai Mary, 89% SSLC. Sharmila S, daughter of Mr. Sebastian and Mrs. Vijaya Nirmala Mary, 88% SSLC. Priya Darshini, daughter of Mr. Pal Raj and Mrs. Antonamma, 86% SSLC. Rashmi, daughter of Mr. Raju and Mrs. Rani, 86% SSLC. Paska Shaini, daughter of Mr. Madalai Muthu and Mrs. Mariamma, 89% PUC. Sudha, daughter of Mr. Yaqub and Mrs. Jabamale, 84% B.Ed. Congratulations to all the awardees of St. Louis Parish, Prakashpalya. Our Lady of Lourdes Parish, Martelli. Sanusa M, daughter of Mr. Maria Sagai Raj A and Mrs. Elizabeth Rani M, 85% SSLC. Abhishek Moses A, son of Mr. Annenathan and Mrs. Anbu Arasi, 93% SSLC. Austin R, son of Mr. Robert Dhanraj R and Mrs. Rita Mary T, 91% SSLC. Femina L, daughter of Mr. Lawrence Kurandai and Mrs. Teresa, 92% SSLC. Dharshini V, daughter of Mr. Vijay Anand Kumar and Mrs. Paska Mary, 86% SSLC. Wesley Anthony S, son of Mr. Sagai Rai and Mrs. Sagai Mary, 86% SSLC. Wilson Jovius D, son of Mr. Dorai Swami and Mrs. Christina Mary Stella, 90% SSLC. Arul Ananda Selvi P, daughter of Mr. Periyanayagam and Mrs. Jayapriya, 91% SSLC. Jaswant Richard R, son of Mr. Robert Clement Dhanraj and Mrs. Margaret Lalita, 98% SSLC. Sona Rosita S, daughter of Mr. Susai Arogyam and Mrs. Mary Stella, 95% SSLC. Flavin C, son of Mr. Charles David William P and Mrs. Amala Rani L, 93% SSLC. Carol Joy Sebastian C, son of Mr. Charles Louis Power, 91% SSLC. Pradeep Kumar S, son of Mr. Susai Manikyam and Mrs. Arogyammal, 86% SSLC. Jaideep S, son of Mr. Savariyappan and Mrs. Maria, 89% SSLC. Steffi Jennifer A, daughter of Mr. Alexander and Mrs. Mary Usha, 87% SSLC. Shyam Daniel F, son of Mr. Francis Loyola Anand and Mrs. Antoniammal, 88% SSLC. Stanley Joseph S, son of Mr. Sesuraj and Mrs. Josephine Mary, 88% SSLC. Asha Preeti G, daughter of Mr. George Chandrasekhar and Mrs. Japamale Rakini, 90% SSLC. Reni S, daughter of Mr. Sagai Raj and Mrs. Arul Periyanayagi, 88% SSLC. Arukya Roshan P, son of Mr. Periyanayagam and Mrs. Periyanayagamal, 90% SSLC. Remy Infancia D, daughter of Mr. Divyanathan R and Mrs. Lancy Mary R, 98% PUC. Abimelech V, son of Mr. Matthias and Mrs. Arul Mary, 85% PUC. Swapna Stella J, daughter of Mr. Joseph William S and Mrs. Leena Pushpa Mary J, 90% B.Ed. Shobha Rani S, daughter of Mr. Sesuraj and Mrs. Mary, 75% B.Com. Ramya Urmila S, daughter of Mr. Sesuraj and Mrs. Mary, 76% B.Com. Sangeeta A, daughter of Mr. Arogya Swami and Mrs. Moksha Mary, 75% BSc. Jeevan Anthony Raj F, son of Mr. Francis Arogya Swami and Mrs. Lily Prakash Mary, 75% BA. Priscilla J, daughter of Mr. John Brito and Mrs. Sagaya Mary, 83% BCom. Amala Gracie V, daughter of Mr. Vincent and Mrs. Marimalayammal, 92% B.Ed. Esther Rosalind D, daughter of Mr. Dennis and Mrs. Pushpa Mary, 85% B.Ed. Jhansi Sharmila Kumari M, daughter of Mr. Michael and Mrs. Shanti Mary, 90% B.Ed. Premalata M, daughter of Mr. Maria Joseph and Mrs. Kulande Teresa, 84% B.Ed. Vimala I, daughter of Mr. Inyasi Muthu and Mrs. Lily Pushpa, 86% B.Ed. William Johnson S., son of Mr. Sesuraj and Mrs. Mocha Mary, 87% B.Ed. Jhansi Nitya Kumari S., daughter of Mr. Sesuraj and Mrs. Kamala Mary, 91% B.Ed. Josephine Mary K., daughter of Mr. Kulandai Raj and Mrs. Alfonsa Mary, 87% B.Ed. Jency Vimala Rani S., daughter of Mr. Sesuraj and Mrs. Amalorpava Mary, 86% B.Ed. Chandra Rekha S., daughter of Mr. Sagai Raj and Mrs. Mary, 84% M.Com. Kulandai Teresa C., daughter of Mr. Charles Selvaraj and Mrs. Mocha Rakini, 77% MCA. Vinita Jennifer E., daughter of Mr. Emmanuel and Mrs. Selina Mary, 86% BPEd. Sanjay A., son of Mr. Anthony Swami and Mrs. Periyanayagammal, 90% SSLC. Vishal Pinto, son of Mr. John Joseph and Mrs. Alphonse Mary, 85% SSLC. Johnson Praveen Kumar M., son of Mr. Madalai Swami and Mrs. Selvi Vimalarani, 88% SSLC. Dayal A., son of Mr. Albert M. and Mrs. Elizabeth Rani, 77% BA. Congratulations to all the awardees of Our Lady of Lourdes Parish, Martelly. St. Thomas Parish, Tomiyarpalyam. Sangeeta M., daughter of Mr. Madalai Muthu and Mrs. Periyanayagammal, 93% SSLC. Roslyn Anukrupa S., daughter of Mr. Sesuraj and Mrs. Pasca Mary, 93% SSLC. Jhansi Regina Mary M., daughter of Mr. Madalai Muthu and Mrs. Madalai Ammal, 93% SSLC. Abhinaya A., daughter of Mr. Anthony Swami and Mrs. Madalai Ammal, 90% SSLC. Leah Jasmine M., daughter of Mr. Mahimai Das and Mrs. Maria Madalena, 93% SSLC. Preeti A., daughter of Mr. Arokya Swami and Mrs. Mary Selina, 89% SSLC. Richard M., son of Mr. Madalai Muthu and Mrs. Kulandai Teresa, 87% SSLC. Melvin S., son of Mr. Sesuraj and Mrs. Pasca Pauline Mary, 89% SSLC. Pascal Bailon P., son of Mr. Periyanayagam and Mrs. Sagaya Mary, 91% B.Ed. Dina Angeline M., daughter of Mr. Mahimai Das and Mrs. Maria Magdalena, 92% B.Ed. Rabin Paul Prince P., son of Mr. Pathinathan and Mrs. Gloria Elizabeth Rani, 79% ITI. Congratulations to all the awardees of St. Thomas Parish, Tomiyarpalyam. Our Lady of Health Parish, Hannur. Reno Carol R., son of Mr. Romeo Jayakumar and Mrs. Sebastiammal, 86% SSLC. Pratik Kumar P., son of Mr. Prakash V. and Mrs. Bhagya E., 88% SSLC. Renu Jasmine S., daughter of Mr. A. Swaminathan and Mrs. Periyanayaga Vimalarani A., 92% SSLC. Prajwal Kumar VP, son of Mr. Prakash and Mrs. Bhagya E, 86% PUC. Judith M, daughter of Mr. Maria Pushparaj M and Mrs. Anita Agnes M, 87% PUC. Remy Nixon SL, son of Mr. Selva Sagayaraj J and Mrs. Lily Pushparani B, 97% PUC. Mithil Govius, son of Mr. Maxim Govius and Mrs. Tanuja Fatima Brito, 93% PUC. Anthony Rickson Brito, son of Mr. Terence Brito and Mrs. Reina Janet Lewis, 84% BE. May Kumar M, son of Mr. Madappa and Mrs. Saroja, 85% BCom. Congratulations to all the awardees of Our Lady of Health Parish, Hannur. St. Francis of Assisi Parish, Kollegal. Sahana P, daughter of Mr. Pavitra Kumar J and Mrs. Shivalingamma, 96% SSLC. Amrit U, son of Mr. Uttar and Mrs. Kalavati, 93% B.Ed. Manoj Kumar C, son of Mr. Chinnappa and Mrs. Bhagya, 93% B.Ed. Lidwan Noel B, daughter of Mr. Benjamin Putraj G and Mrs. Annama A, 92% B.Ed. Anthony Sushma P, daughter of Mr. Prasanna Kumar and Mrs. Saubhagya, 88% B.Ed. Preetham N, son of Mr. Nagasundra and Mrs. Fatima J, 88.4% MSc. Benedicta Noel B, daughter of Mr. Benjamin Putraj G and Mrs. Annama A, 78% BCom. Abhilash N, son of Mr. Francis Nagraj and Mrs. Lata P, 75% MPed. Congratulations to all the awardees of St. Francis of Assisi Parish, Kollega. St. Joseph's Parish, Odrudodi. Jerome Kumar A, son of Mr. Arumainathan and Mrs. Arokyammal, 88% SSLC. Sheba Priyadarshini A, daughter of Mr. Arokyanathan and Mrs. Lourdes Mary, 89% SSLC. Stanley D, son of Mr. Devadas and Mrs. Lima Rose, 90% SSLC. John Paul S, son of Mr. Santiago and Mrs. Arokyammal, 92% SSLC. Jeswin P, son of Mr. Pal Raj and Mrs. Madalai Maria, 91% SSLC. Dean Henry J, son of Mr. Jai Seelan and Mrs. Lima Rose, 90% SSLC. Abhishek S, son of Mr. Sesuraj and Mrs. Elizabeth Rani, 90% SSLC. Ramya A, daughter of Mr. Arul Swami and Mrs. Stella, 87% SSLC. Angel S, daughter of Mr. Sigarayar and Mrs. Periyanayaga Mary, 93% SSLC. Mona Lisa S, daughter of Mr. Sian and Mrs. Parimala, 89% SSLC. Merlin Sylvia A, daughter of Mr. Anthony Swami and Mrs. Julie Pasca Mary, 87% SSLC. Gautam R, son of Mr. Ravi and Mrs. Ponni, 90% SSLC. Ashak J, son of Mr. John Joseph and Mrs. Jnana, 89% SSLC. Clara Rosie S, daughter of Mr. Savari Manikyam and Mrs. Jacqueline, 93% SSLC. Jenny Priya P, daughter of Mr. Pushparaj Josephine and Mrs. Lily Pushpa Mary, 92% SSLC. Steffi Krista A., daughter of Mr. Arulappan and Mrs. Vimala Sagaya Arasi, 88% SSLC. Sandhya Antonia Mal V., daughter of Mr. Victor Francis and Mrs. Josephine Mary, 87% SSLC. Shamila Rexy A., daughter of Mr. Anthony Swami and Mrs. Selvi Pushpa, 90% SSLC. Nitya M., daughter of Mr. Maria Joseph and Mrs. Periyanayagammal, 87% SSLC. Deepika Varshini A., daughter of Mr. Albert Irudayaraj and Mrs. Shanti Sagaya Mary, 87% SSLC. Janit Nivata K., daughter of Mr. Kulandai Swami and Mrs. Shanti Mary, 90% SSLC. Satish Praveen A., son of Mrs. Amirtha Nayagam and Mrs. Philomena, 89% SSLC. Prema Arokya Selvi S., daughter of Mr. Sesu Sagayaraj and Mrs. Adaikala Mary, 86% PUC. Priscilla J., daughter of Mr. John R. and Mrs. Dava Mary, 88% SSLC. Rego Periyanayagam S., son of Mr. Solomon Muttu and Mrs. Parimala, 76% BSc. Periyanayagam Malakya D., son of Mr. Devasagayam and Mrs. Susayammal, 75% BCA. Vimal Arulandu J., son of Mr. John Shantappan and Mrs. Selva Mary, 91% B.Ed. Nitya P., daughter of Mr. Tangiraj and Mrs. Antoniammal, 82% B.Ed. Sharmila Rani A., daughter of Mr. Arul Swami and Mrs. Lily Pushpa, 90% B.Ed. Baby Shalini S., daughter of Mr. Santiago and Mrs. Jabamalai Mary, 78% B.Ed. Leo Jeswin, son of Mr. Sesuraj and Mrs. Jaya Mary, 84% BSc. John Joseph M., son of Mr. Madalai Muttu and Mrs. Hirudaya Mary, 79% Diploma. Monisha J., daughter of Mr. Joseph Anthony and Mrs. Maria, 75% MSc. Congratulations to all the awardees of St. Joseph's Parish, Otradodi.
Our Lady of Fatima Parish, Suluvadi. Jhansi Rani B., daughter of Mr. Benjamin and Mrs. Susayammal, 89% SSLC. Jennifer Neetu S., daughter of Mr. Sagai Raj and Mrs. Arokya Mary, 94% SSLC. Reni Joytin Brito M., daughter of Mr. Mohan Arul Raj and Mrs. Arokya Amma, 89% SSLC. Francina M., daughter of Mr. Maria Joseph Selvakumar and Mrs. Janet Sagai Mary, 88% SSLC. Arokya Johnson M., son of Mr. Madalai Swami and Mrs. Ammal Jayanti, 97% SSLC. Franklin J., son of Mr. John Brito and Mrs. Alphonse Elizabeth, 91% SSLC. Joylyn Sujita R., daughter of Mr. Rosai Jerome Kumar and Mrs. Regina Mary, 91% SSLC. Avinash Maria Christi K., son of Mr. Kannu Swami and Periyanayagi, 88% SSLC. Joylyn Pongudi A., daughter of Mr. Arokya Swami and Mrs. Philomena Mary, 93% PUC. Ezeka Rose R., son of Mr. Rabin and Mrs. Maria Pushpa Rani, 88% BAC. Christina Priyadarshani J., daughter of Mr. Jabamalai and Mrs. Sagaya Mary, 89% B.Ed. Vinita M., daughter of Mr. Maria Joseph and Mrs. Antoni Ammal, 91% B.Ed. Congratulations to Our Lady of Fatima Parish, Suluwadi. Our Lady of Presentation Parish, Maria Mangalam. Abhikrupa A., daughter of Mr. Alexander and Mrs. Kolende Teresa, 92% SSLC. Vedangani A., daughter of Mr. Arakya Swami and Mrs. Lily Pushpa, 91% SSLC. Sharmila P., daughter of Mr. Parthinathan and Mrs. Asunta Mary, 90% SSLC. Magdalene Meghala Y., daughter of Mr. Esuraj and Mrs. Regina Mary, 89% SSLC. Maria Jennifer Nisha, daughter of Mr. Madalai Muttu and Mrs. Selva Mary, 89% B.Ed. Jennifer T., daughter of Mr. Thomas and Mrs. Pauline Mary, 77% B.Com. Justin Gracie Pramila J., daughter of Mr. Jesuraj and Mrs. Selva Mary, 89% B.Ed. Congratulations to Our Lady of Presentation Parish, Maria Mangalam. St. Anne's Parish, Sandanapalyam. Geeta M., daughter of Mr. Matthias and Mrs. Amuda, 94% SSLC. Shanti Sharmila A., daughter of Mr. Antoni Swami and Perenai Gammal, 93% SSLC. Infant Sharmila A., daughter of Mr. Antoni Swami and Mrs. Jabamali Mary, 92% SSLC. Abhishek P., son of Mr. Perumal and Mrs. Shanti, 93% SSLC. Vilsi Jerlana D., daughter of Mr. David Sagairaj and Mrs. Rosie Kamala Selvi, 92% SSLC. Priyadarshani J., daughter of Mr. John Sagairaj and Mrs. Josephine Mary, 92% SSLC. Infant Rajini A., daughter of Mr. Antoni Swami and Mrs. Sebastian Ammal, 91% SSLC. Irdaya Swami G., son of Mr. Jnana Prakasam and Mrs. Jabamale Mary, 90% SSLC. Starlin Abhishek M., son of Mr. Maria Rose and Mrs. Perenayag Ammal, 90% SSLC. Francis Xavier J., son of Mr. John Ravi Selvam and Mrs. Perenayag Ammal, 89% SSLC. Cheveria Charles J., son of Mr. Johnson Arul Sebastian and Mrs. Susai Mary, 89% SSLC. Premanjali G., daughter of Mr. Gilbert and Mrs. Perenayag Ammal, 89% SSLC. Jessina S., daughter of Mr. Swaminathan and Mrs. Fati Mary, 89% SSLC. Jean Tracy A., daughter of Mr. Arul Das and Mrs. Perenayag Ammal, 89% SSLC. Priya S., daughter of Mr. Sagai Raj and Mrs. Vasanta, 89% SSLC. Sham Mitsal J., son of Mr. John Joseph and Mrs. Pala Mary, 89% SSLC. James Melvin S., son of Mr. Sesu Sagai Raj and Antoni Ammal, 88% SSLC. S. Eromia Selvam J., son of Mr. John Joseph and Mrs. Arul Selva Kumari, 88% SSLC. Asha Shalini D., daughter of Mr. Dharmaraj and Mrs. Alphonse Mary, 87% SSLC. Daniel J., son of Mr. Gerald Reuben and Mrs. Victoria Vimala, 86% SSLC. Manoj Kumar M, son of Mr. Madalai Muthu and Arulai, 86% SSLC. Nagum Santosh G, son of Mr. George Fernandez and Mrs. Masila Mary, 85% SSLC. Martin Anthony G, son of Mr. James Jayamary and Mrs. Premila Mary, 85% SSLC. Mario Rochin P, son of Mr. Peter Sagayam and Mrs. Perenayag Ammal, 95% SSLC. Amala Sangeeta S, daughter of Mr. Sesuraj and Mrs. Dayala Mary, 89% DLET. Ruby Nirmala Mary A, daughter of Mr. Arulappan and Mrs. Anna Mary, 86% DEIET. Arul Jenita S, daughter of Mr. Savarimuthu and Mrs. Sagaya Mary, 91% B.Ed. Sundaresh I, son of Mr. Irvia Raj A and Mrs. Moksha Mary J, 80% D.Ed. Remy Luciana W, daughter of late William and Mrs. Margaret Regina Mary, 82% D.Ed. Edwin James Kumar, son of Mr. Irvia Raj A and Mrs. Moksha Mary J, 79% B.Ed. Congratulations to all the awardees of St. Anne's Parish, Sandanapalyam. St. Joseph's Parish, PG Palya. Nayan Prajwal, son of Mr. Joseph and Mrs. Sheila, 75% BCom. Congratulations to the awardee of St. Joseph's Parish, PG Palya. St. Anthony's Parish, Jageri. Shrisha Faustina M, daughter of Mr. Manikyam and Mrs. Gloria, 88% SSLC. Susai Anthony A, son of Mr. Aragyaswamy and Mrs. Kolandai Teresa, 86% SSLC. Sesu Sagairaj J, son of Mr. Jayaraj and Mrs. Sophia Salomi, 85% SSLC. Sebastian A, son of Mr. Aragyaswamy and Mrs. Arokya Mary, 86% SSLC. Mary Anjali J, daughter of Mr. Japamali and Mrs. Sri Priya Pushpa, 91% SSLC. Anthony C, son of Mr. Charlie John Joseph and Jnana Sundari, 88% SSLC. Rebecca A, daughter of Mr. Arul Raj and Mrs. Sagaya Mary, 86% SSLC. Shalini Princey A, daughter of Mr. Amal Raj and Mrs. Antoni Amma, 85% SSLC. Shweta Antoni Amma, daughter of Mr. Alexander A and Mrs. Perenayagam Francis Mary, 85% SSLC. Vinnarisi A, daughter of Mr. Amal Selvakumari J and Mrs. Perenayag Ammal M, 87% SSLC. Arokya Arul Servi M, daughter of Mr. Manohar Mani and Mrs. Sagaya Mary, 94% B.Ed. Maria Madalai Ammal, daughter of Mr. Sagaya Raj and Mrs. Lourdu Mary, 95% B.Ed. Victoria Gracie D, daughter of Mr. Dominic and Mrs. Gloria Mary, 86% B.Ed. Sunita Rosedin T, daughter of Mr. Tomai Raj and Mrs. Moksha Rakini, 79% B.Ed. Congratulations to all the awardees of St. Anthony's Parish, Jagiri. Christ the Redeemer Parish, Shantinagar, Jageri. Shilpa Priyadarshani, daughter of Mr. Chinnappan and Mrs. Arul Mary, 82% BA. Johnson A, son of Mr. Anthony Swami and Mrs. Veronica, 77% MSc. Congratulations to all the awardees of Christ the Redeemer Parish, Shantinagar, Jagiri. St. Paul's Parish, Chamarajnagar. Sharon Peter, daughter of Peter Robert and Mrs. Shelley PV, 90% SSLC. Reena Jennifer CJ, daughter of Mr. Christopher James J and Mrs. Salat Mary, 90% SSLC. Deepthi KV, daughter of Mr. VL Liza Varghese and Mrs. KA Varghese, 88% SSLC. Angel J, daughter of Mr. Jayappa P and Mrs. M. Chinnamma, 98% SSLC. Preslin Peter, daughter of Mr. Peter Robert and Mrs. Shelley PV, 98% PUC. Joylyn Joseph J, daughter of Mr. Joseph Raju and Mrs. Pushpa Teresa J, 96% PUC. Digna Mary Francis, daughter of Mr. Francis Babu and Mrs. Shaila Francis, 95% PUC. Arun JP, son of Mr. Jayappa and Mrs. Pushpamma, 77% BCom. Rayana Lavita De Silva, daughter of Mr. Joseph Murray De Silva and Mrs. Flavine De Souza, 89% MSc. Anita M, daughter of Prashant Kumar and Mrs. Veronica, 84% MA. Diana J, daughter of Mr. Joseph Victor and Mrs. Vasanta Kumari, 83% MCA. Namrata Raj, daughter of Mr. Pushpa Raj and Mrs. Nirmala Mary, 86% MTech. Congratulations to St. Paul's Parish, Chamarajnagar. St. Mary's Parish, Mariapura, Kollegal. Sania Rajesh, daughter of Mr. Rajesh and Mrs. Manju, 99% PUC. Manu K, son of Mr. Gilbert and Mrs. Regina, 78% MA. Congratulations to the awardee of St. Mary's Parish. Infant Jesus Parish, Balanagar. Archita Mayola, daughter of Mr. Alphonse Raj and Mrs. Shanta Mary Jacinta, 82% MSc. Congratulations. Sacred Heart Parish, Kudigune, Chamarajnagar. Jennifer C, daughter of Mr. Chinnaraju and Mrs. Mariamma, 83% BCom. Congratulations. Annai Velangani Parish, Annai Nagar. Mauli Arokyammal A, daughter of Mr. Antoniappan and Mrs. Josephine Perenayagamal, 87% SSLC. Rakshit A, son of Mr. Arokya Swami and Mrs. Kamala Mary, 87.2% SSLC. Priyadarshini P, daughter of Mr. Pakya Raj and Mrs. Velangani, 88% SSLC. Maria Shalini J, daughter of Mr. James and Mrs. Selva Mary, 90% SSLC. Congratulations to all the awardees of Annai Velangani Parish, Annai Nagar. St. Anthony the Hermit Parish, Karatukovil. Anthony Chinnappa Adisaya Kumar P, son of Mr. Panir Selvam and Mrs. Selva Mary, 90% SSLC. Gerald Roshan S, son of Mr. Sebastian A and Mrs. Perenayag Ammal M, 93% SSLC. Anthony A, son of Mr. Amruta Raj and Mrs. Philomena, 87% SSLC. Priyadarshini J, daughter of Mr. Joseph Alexander and Mrs. Sheila Fatima, 88% SSLC. Angel Pushpa R, daughter of Mr. Raj Manikyan and Pushpa Rani, 92% SSLC. Epshiba A, daughter of Mr. Arokya Swami and Mrs. Perenayag Ammal, 91% SSLC. Jnana Kruba, daughter of Mr. Paul Raj and Mrs. Jaya Vijaya, 89% SSLC. Anita Shobha Rani A, daughter of Mr. Arul Prashant and Mrs. Viswasa Mary, 86% SSLC. Rakshita A, daughter of Mr. Anthony Swami and Mrs. Maria Magdalena, 90% SSLC. Lancy Esther A, daughter of Mr. Amrita Raj and Mrs. Philomena Mary, 86% PUC. Rosaline Pasca J, daughter of Mr. John Baptist S and Mrs. Pakya Mal, 84% D.Ed. Maria Vinodini, daughter of Mr. Somana Susenathan and Mrs. Sandana Mary, 83% D.Ed. Bavin Xavier S, daughter of Mr. Savarinathan and Mrs. Rita Mary, 92% B.Ed. Josephine Sagaya Mary M, daughter of Mr. Mudalai Muttu and Mrs. Jaya Mary, 92% B.Ed. Pradeep Bhaskar A, son of Mr. Arakya Swami and Mrs. Arul Selvi, 88% B.Ed. Salome M, daughter of Mr. Mudalai Muttu and Mrs. Kolandai Teresa, 90% B.Ed. Josephine Punita J, daughter of Mr. Joseph and Mrs. Fatima, 83% B.Ed. Kalai Selvi, daughter of Mr. Inyasi Muttu and Mrs. Charlotte Mary, PhD. Congratulations to St. Anthony the Hermit Parish, Karthukovil.
Thank you and congratulations to the awardees of Chamrajnagar district. His Excellency, Most Reverend Dr. K.A. William, the Bishop of Mysore, the patron of these awards and the host of this ceremony, will now address the gathering.
Ellirigu namaskara. A very good evening to everybody. Most Reverend Dr. Sebastian, the Bishop of Mandya, the chief guest of this evening, Most Reverend Dr. Thomas Vadapilli, Bishop Emeritus of a Diocese, Father Pakiraj, the Chancellor of the Diocese, Father Vijay Kumar, the Secretary of Mysore Diocesan Education Society, Father Bernard Prakash, the Rector of St. Philo's, Mysore, where we are conducting this program. All the Reverend Fathers, Sisters, all my dear staff, students, parents, well-wishers of Mysore Diocesan Education Society. It's indeed a very happy occasion every year when we come together to honor the meritorious Catholic students of a diocese. But from a couple of years, we are not able to make it physically coming together in hundreds, sharing our joy, happiness, congratulating each other, appreciating each other for the performance of our dear students. However, this year too, we do not want to miss this beautiful celebration. I was just wondering, this year, the number of the meritorious students has doubled. Last year it was 230 plus. This year, 400 and plus. We are indeed happy for our students for excelling in the examinations held the previous academic year. Of course, the very mode of examination last year was slightly different. We know because of the COVID, the government had proposed a very different type of conducting examinations, making our students possible to perform well because they had months together vacation. They had missed the real classroom teachings. They had missed many of the subjects which are very important. However, our staff in all our institutions have done their best online. And our students too put their heart and soul to the best of their ability and have performed well. At this moment, I congratulate all the students for their performance, for excelling well in their subject, in their examinations. Also, I take this opportunity to thank all the staff, the heads of the institutions, the teaching faculty, the non-teaching faculty who have done their best in our institutions, keeping the students as their focus of their profession, putting their heart and soul, preparing the classes, presenting it the best possible, and imparting qualitative, value-based education, which is our prime goal in our education society. Well, my dear students, this program, this awarding, this appreciation should only enable you to further move towards better excellence in your life. This certificates what you receive, or the awards what you receive, should only remind you it's only a beginning of your life, and you have to put all your effort sincerely to work hard and fetch many more laurels in your life so that you will be happy in your life. You will be happy in shaping your own future. Also make your parents happy, your teachers happy, and the church happy and proud for what you are. And you will be surely contributing for the good of the society wherever you are. Humanly speaking, there are possibilities of certain things which we should be aware of, and we should have the presence of mind. Just a couple of days before, I saw a small clipping. You know, in the companies, firms, there are trainers who train the employees. So one such training was happening, and the trainer asked 10 of the participants to come on the dais, and he gives a balloon, air-filled balloon, to each one of them, and he makes them stand at a distance, and he tells these 10 participants with the balloon each in their hand, "Dear friends, I give you 2 minutes. You should just keep this balloon with the air till the end without breaking." He says, you should keep this balloon with the air filled without breaking till the end. And he says the count begins now. Spontaneously, you know what they did? They started breaking the balloon of the other, protecting their own balloons at the back. Spontaneously, they started attacking others' balloon. One balloon went, two of them joined and started attacking the third one. By the end of the 2 minutes, none of them had a balloon in their hand. At last, the trainer comes and says, I never asked you to break the balloon of the other. I only asked you to keep the balloon safe with air filled till the end. But then you went on breaking the balloon of the other. And the message he gave was, it is so spontaneous, so human, it is so natural. People think, for my success, someone has to be attacked. For my success, someone has to lose. For my success, the other balloon should be destroyed. Though the trainer never invited them to do so, so innate, human, spontaneous. Our education today, the value-based education today, should make us have the presence of mind and that knowledge to respect others, to protect others, to help others, to support others. Not that we have success by destroying someone. Not one has success by spoiling the reputation of the other. Not to have success by stamping someone else. That will never succeed and make one successful forever. In this incident, what the trainer conducted, all the 10 could have been successful. All the 10 could have been successful just by being themselves and helping each other. Well, my dear students, our education, our exposure, our experience should enable us to always have success, of course, in life, but not at the cost of others. We should grow and make others grow. Well, I have a very special word of thanks to your parents, our own parishioners, our own Catholic parents. Congratulations to you. You have done the best for your child. You have given to your child that Christian faith, and you are encouraging them to have education with values. Continue the same so that your kids will excel in their life. Also, to be good Christians in our society, to be good Catholics in our diocese, and wherever they are, let them radiate God's love, compassion, and blessings. Take care, and God bless you.
Indeed, it is a moment of pride and joy for all of us to listen to our Bishop. Thank you, my Lord, for your words of encouragement and for teaching us to climb the ladder of success together. I now request Reverend Father Vijay Kumar to escort the dignitaries to their seats in front of the dais. Now, we move on with the felicitation to the award winners of parishes of Mysore district. I request Mrs. Shirley Anthony to announce the names of the awardees of various parishes of Mysore district.
Divine Mercy Parish, Sadgalli. Monica J., daughter of Mr. Joseph K.S. and Mrs. Emma, 91.2% SSLC. Jayanti Selvi M., daughter of Mr. Madalai Muthu and Mrs. Vyakula Mary, 93.28% SSLC. Jasmine A., daughter of Mr. Arul Raj V. and Mrs. Arogya Stella, 91.36 SSLC. Appy Shailza Kalko, daughter of Mr. Nirmal Ashok Kalko and Mrs. Punita Kalko, 98% PUC. Augustine Pratit De Silva, son of Mr. Praveen De Silva and Mrs. Stella Vinuta De Souza, 86% PUC. Mary Shiny Lynette K.S., daughter of Mr. Sajan and Mrs. Asha, 89% BSc. Stella Vinuta De Souza, daughter of Mr. G.E. De Souza and Mrs. Clara Butello, 87% B.Ed. Congratulations to all the awardees of Divine Mercy Parish, Sadgalli. Divine Mercy Parish, K.R. Nagara. Prajwal V., son of Mr. Vincent Gabriel and Mrs. Sabina, 95% PUC. Atmika Almeida, daughter of Mr. Peter Almeida and Mrs. Meena Kumari, 86% BSc. Congratulations to the awardees of Divine Mercy Parish, K.R. Nagara. St. Jude Thaddeus Parish, B.M. Srinagar. Mary Rita J., daughter of Mr. John Kennedy and Mrs. Mary Rita, 86% SSLC. Abhilash K., son of Mr. Krishna and Mrs. Kavita, 93% SSLC. Ashwini N. Rose, daughter of Mr. John Baptist and Mrs. Veena, 85% MCom. Elizabeth Judith, daughter of Mr. J. Jairaj and Mrs. Sophie, 79% BCA. Congratulations to all the awardees of St. Jude Thaddeus Parish, BM Srinagar. St. Anthony's Parish, Gayatri-puram. Sanjan Babu, son of Mr. Babu S. and Mrs. Saleen Mary A., 96% SSLC. Dia Crystal Menezes, daughter of Mr. Johnson Roy Menezes and Mrs. Christine Crasta, 100% PUC. Rachel David, daughter of Mr. David Richard Dharmadas and Mrs. Leena David, 87% PUC. Congratulations to all the awardees of St. Anthony's Parish, Gayatri-puram. Holy Cross Parish, Maradiyur. Joy Jose, son of Mr. Jose Francis and Mrs. Mary CG, 94% SSLC. Reena, daughter of Mr. Shiju and Mrs. Rani, 95% SSLC. Jessie G.A., daughter of Mr. Anthony Swami and Mrs. Gracie K.A., 89% SSLC. Stephen V., son of Mr. Vincent K.P. and Mrs. Philomena, 85% SSLC. Vinod Martin, son of Mr. Stanislas and Mrs. Vimala, 84% BE. Mary K.G., daughter of Mr. George K.B. and Mrs. Pauli P.D., 79% nursing. Congratulations to all the awardees of Holy Cross Parish, Maradiyur. St. Mary's Parish, Priyapatna. Akash Nelson, son of Mr. Anthony Raj and Mrs. Veronica, 88% SSLC. Congratulations to the awardee of St. Mary's Parish, Priyapatna. Sacred Heart Parish, Naganahalli. Prajwal Lane, son of Mr. Francis Prakash and Mrs. Prema Lata, 88% SSLC. Aaron Emmanuel, son of Mr. Harulappa Anthony and Mrs. Lily, 88% SSLC. Pramod P., son of Mr. Prashant Kumar and Mrs. Moksha Mary, 88% SSLC. Vinita Sonali, daughter of Mr. Vincent and Mrs. Shobha Rani, 96% SSLC. Apeksha, daughter of Mr. Anthony Dayakishore and Mrs. Prema Lata, 89% SSLC. Sparshita Leona, daughter of Mr. Anthony Muthu and Mrs. Shobha Mary, 88% PUC. Leon Lency, son of Mr. Lazar and Mrs. Lourdi Mary, 76% BCom. Justin Sanuth, son of Mr. M. Joseph and Mrs. Sumana Kumari, 77% BA. Maria Anusha, daughter of Mr. Anthony Raj and Mrs. Arogya Mary, 88% D.Ed. Congratulations to all the awardees of Sacred Heart Parish, Naganahalli. Holy Cross Parish, Belwadi. Layana Binoy, daughter of Mr. Binoy K.A. and Mrs. Shaila Devasya, 91.68% SSLC. Maria Josephine X, daughter of Mr. Xavier D. and Mrs. Jansi Rani X, 88% SSLC. Sanjana R, daughter of Mr. Raju S. and Mrs. Stella, 87.36% SSLC. Vishal Rodriguez, son of Mr. William Rodriguez and Mrs. Juliana Rodriguez, 95% PUC. Daniel S., son of Mr. Selvaraju A. and Mrs. Maria Resina, 91% BE. Lavita D'Souza, daughter of Mr. Vincent D'Souza and Mrs. Teresa D'Souza, 90% BE. Congratulations to all the awardees of Holy Cross Parish, Belwadi. Sacred Heart Parish, Yadavgiri. Serena Vaz, daughter of Mr. Maxim Vaz and Mrs. Fancy Vaz, 96% SSLC. Daisy, daughter of Mr. Vimal Raj and Mrs. Vimala Rani, 89% SSLC. Congratulations to the awardees of Sacred Heart Parish, Yadavgiri. Holy Family Parish, Hinkal. Bindya Anthony G., daughter of Mr. Harrison Anthony and Mrs. Sharmila Harrison, 90% SSLC. Nishal Fernandez, daughter of Mr. Novel Fernandez and Mrs. Nancy Pinto, 87% PUC. Anjali Melina Lobo, daughter of Mr. Maxima Lobo and Mrs. Jyoti M. Lobo, 95% PUC. Prerit Menezes, son of Mr. Vinci MM and Mrs. Teresa Norona, 91% PUC. Anthony Naveen J., son of Mr. James David and Mrs. Kavita J., 88% PUC. Carol Fernandez, daughter of Mr. Vincent R. Fernandez and Mrs. Hazel Dora D'Souza, 79% MBA. Maria Sharon Dennis, daughter of Mr. K. John Dennis, and Mrs. Mary Margareta Nirmala, 87% BE. Anju Marina Lobo, daughter of Mr. Maxima Lobo and Mrs. Jyoti M. Lobo, 81% BE. Congratulations to all the awardees of Holy Family Parish, Inkal. St. Francis Xavier Parish, Hunsur. Anthony Joyce, daughter of Mr. Jayaraju A. and Mrs. Elizabeth Rani, 97% SSLC. Anvin A. Anthony, son of Mr. Anthony Alfred and Mrs. Rinnie Thomas, 92% SSLC. Augustine, son of Mr. Antaraj and Mrs. Philomena, 87% SSLC. Prajwal P., son of Mr. Prashant Babu and Mrs. Anthony Mary, 88% SSLC. Abin P. Thomas, son of Mr. Thomas PC and Mrs. Jessia Thomas, 91% PUC. Arogya Mary, daughter of Mr. G. Anthony Sebastian and Mrs. Madalai Mary, 94% PUC. Congratulations to all the awardees of St. Francis Xavier Parish, Hunsur. Our Lady of Perpetual Succor Parish, Sri Rampura. Alton D. Almeida, son of Mr. Anthony Baptist D. Almeida and Mrs. Vida Almeida, 97% SSLC. Hania D. Almeida, daughter of Mr. Herald Almeida and Mrs. Vilma Oliveira, 94% SSLC. Mabel D'Souza, daughter of Mr. Praveen P. D'Souza and Mrs. Cynthia D'Souza, 94% PUC. Sahana Ibrahim, daughter of Mr. Ibrahim and Mrs. Jessie, 99% PUC. Nisha Florence, daughter of Mr. Siddha Raju and Mrs. Eliza, 83% MSc. Denzel Shelton H., son of Mr. Henry I and Mrs. Mary S.A., 86% BCA. Nikhil Nevin Vaz, son of Mr. Walter Vaz and Mrs. Helen Clara Cruster, 93% BE. Olivia D'Souza, daughter of Mr. H.P. D'Souza and Mrs. Margaret D. Almeida, 82% BCom. Preetham Joseph Pereira, son of Mr. Prakash Francis Pereira and Mrs. Lavina Pereira, 76% BSc. Congratulations to all the awardees of Our Lady of Perpetual Succor Parish, Sri Rampura. Virgin of the Poor Parish, Bani Mantap. Rakshita S., daughter of Mr. Shashi Kumar M. and Mrs. Elizabeth Mary, 89.12% SSLC. Roshni Supriya Kutina, daughter of Mr. Ronald Prakash Kutina and Mrs. Soni Nora Mascarenas, 95.8% SSLC. Joyce Christie, daughter of Mr. Jagadish and Mrs. Kamal Mary, 88.64% SSLC. Teshin Mansi, daughter of Mr. Manohar and Mrs. Parveen Solomon, 87.33% PUC. Felsia P., daughter of Mr. Philomen Raj R. and Mrs. Anusha, 85.5% PUC. Lovan Rodriguez, son of Mr. Louis Lawrence Rodriguez and Mrs. Winifred Barboza, 87% PUC. Telin Mahima, daughter of Mr. Manohar and Mrs. Parveen Solomon, 83.2% BSc. Shaina Mary A., daughter of Mr. Arogyanathan and Mrs. P.J. Silvestria, 77% BCom. Winil Joseph Rodriguez, son of Mr. Lawrence Rodriguez and Mrs. Winifred Barbosa, 79% BCA. Rosemary Anthony K., daughter of Mr. Anthony Matthew and Mrs. Beena Anthony, 89% BSc. Maria Nibita C., daughter of Mr. Christopher W. and Mrs. J. Josephine, 76% BCA. Anita Francine Mendes, daughter of Mr. Philip Mendes and Mrs. Josephine Amy Mendes, 82% MSc. Ansia Ivan, daughter of Mr. Satya Kumar and Mrs. Ellen, 76% MSc. Ruby Daly L., daughter of Mr. Joseph Raymond and Mrs. Joyce, 93.4% B.Ed. Congratulations to all the awardees of Virgin of the Poor Parish, Bunny Mantap. St. Peter's Parish, Bugadi. Prisha Gloria, daughter of Mrs. Supriya Fernandez, 97% SSLC. Austin Xavier G., son of Mr. Grady Peter and Mrs. Pushpa Mary, 92% SSLC. Ritu Clara M., daughter of Mr. Mahendra T. and Mrs. Pushpa Lata S., 86% SSLC. Jeshma Krasta, daughter of Mr. George Krasta and Mrs. Jacinta Krasta, 79% BCom. Samantha Meneses, daughter of Mr. Victor Meneses and Mrs. Marceline Meneses, 89% BE. Annette Ambrose De Silva, son of Mr. Archie De Silva and Mrs. Jacinta, 79% BTech. Swapna Joseph, daughter of Mr. Joseph and Mrs. Leelamma, 78% MA. Congratulations to all the awardees of St. Peter's Parish, Bugadi. St. Teresa's Parish, Mysore South. Marina Thomas, daughter of Mr. Thomas J. and Mrs. Jane Caroline, 88% SSLC. S. Antos Noban, son of Mr. Sagai Raj and Mrs. Mary Arokya Selvi, 92% SSLC. Rakshita Maria R., daughter of Mr. Ruben Prakash and Mrs. Regina Mary, 87% PUC. Beena R., daughter of Mr. Raymond Joseph and Mrs. Teresa, 78% PUC. Shweta S., daughter of Mr. Sebastian C. and Mrs. Japamale Mary A., 75% BE. Arpita S., daughter of Mr. Sebastian N. and Mrs. Annamma, 89% MTech. Sharon Marcus, daughter of Mr. Marcus Anand Raj and Mrs. Jacinta Marcus, 84% MTech. Congratulations to all the awardees of St. Teresa's Parish, Mysore South. St. Joseph's Cathedral, St. Philomena's Parish. Anish A., son of Mr. Anthony Jeremias G. and Mrs. Shobha M., 91% SSLC. Daisy L., daughter of Mr. Lawrence Rodriguez and Mrs. Arokya Mary, 86% PUC. Stalin D'Souza, son of Mr. Austin D'Souza and Mrs. Victoria D'Souza, 87.83% PUC. Infancia Shirley D., daughter of Mr. Dominic Praveen and Mrs. Litty George, 86% PUC. Sneha Hef, daughter of late Mr. Francis and Mrs. Veronica, 86% PUC. Beulah Shekina J., daughter of Mr. John Brito S. and Mrs. Susanna Lourdu M., 96% PUC. Vivian Francis, son of Mr. Vedanayagam FM and Mrs. Dazzleen Sylvia Saldana, 93% PUC. Anna Vinisha J., daughter of Mr. Jerry G. Patrick and Mrs. Indra Kumari, 86% BCom. Rachel Emilia Mascarenhas, daughter of Mr. Francis Joseph Mascarenhas and Mrs. Perpetual Teresa Mascarenhas, 75% MSc. Venita A., daughter of Mr. Anthony Jeremias G. and Mrs. Shobha, 83% MSc. Jennifer J., daughter of Mr. A.L. John Baptist and Mrs. Velangani Adeline, 77% MSc. Caroline Pearl Rosario, daughter of Mr. Anthony Rosario and Mrs. Anthony Mary, 92.8% PUC. Congratulations to all the awardees of St. Joseph's Cathedral, St. Philomena's Parish. St. Paul the Hermit Parish, Jampanahalli. Jinita P., daughter of Mr. Paul and Mrs. Lizia, 85% SSLC. Shalini A., daughter of Mr. Antonis Swami and Mrs. Priscilla, 85% SSLC. Janet Teresa, daughter of Mr. Zacharias and Mrs. Josephine Peria Nayagam Mary, 88% SSLC. Anusha M., daughter of Mr. Murray Susai and Mrs. Mariamma, 92% B.Ed. Anthony Mary, daughter of Mr. Philomen Raj and Mrs. Amala, 85% B.Ed. Anita D'Souza, wife of Mr. Komal Tony and daughter of Mr. Joachim D'Souza and Mrs. Lily D'Souza, 85% B.Ed. Jacinta A., daughter of Mr. Richard D'Souza and Mrs. Anita Montero, 87% B.Ed. Congratulations to all the awardees of St. Paul the Hermit Parish, Jampanahalli. St. James Parish, Shantipura. Preshita Maria, daughter of Mr. Matthias Kumar and Mrs. Pushpa Lata, 93% SSLC. Vinuta Neha, daughter of Mr. Murray John and Mrs. Rita Arun Kumari, 90% SSLC. Ramya Diksha, daughter of Mr. Robert and Mrs. Carmel Mary, 89% BCA. Pavitra Kumari A., daughter of Mr. Augustine and Mrs. Maria Goretti, 89% B.Ed. Congratulations to all the awardees of St. James Parish, Shantipura. Our Lady of Health Parish, Ratnapuri. Christ Jericho S., son of Mr. Sagai Raj and Mrs. Annie, 86% SSLC. Manisha G., daughter of Mr. Gnan Prakash T and Mrs. Rosemary, 86% SSLC. Jinsia TJ, daughter of Mr. Joseph TD and Mrs. Sophie, 90.2% BCom. Congratulations to all the awardees of Our Lady of Health Parish, Ratnapuri. St. John Paul II Parish, Old Kesre. Shweta Durgappa Iragar, daughter of Mr. Durgappa Iragar and Mrs. Mallava, 94% SLC. Shushma Bharat Patil, daughter of Mr. Bharat and Mrs. Nirmala, 90% SSLC. Aquila Yognath Nair, daughter of Mr. Yognath and Mrs. Cecilia, 88% SSLC. Megha Prakash Goodley, daughter of Mr. Prakash Goodley and Mrs. Rekha Goodley, 86% SSLC. Congratulations to all the awardees of St. John Paul II Parish, Old Kesre. Our Lady of Immaculate Conception Parish, Kudlur. Iridia Spurti, daughter of Mr. Rayappa and Mrs. Jacinta Mary, 87% SSLC. Rohan Josh DV, son of Mr. Vijaya Kumar and Mrs. Rupa Rani, 87% SSLC. Shalini Priya, daughter of Mr. Daniel Kumar and Mrs. Magadala Mary, 92% SSLC. Anusha, daughter of Mr. Marcos and Mrs. Nirmala Mary, 87% SSLC. Nitya Priya, daughter of Mr. Michael and Mrs. Parimala Mary, 87% SSLC. Congratulations to all the awardees of Our Lady of Immaculate Conception Parish, Kudlur. Our Lady of Velankani Parish, Mysore. Annie Matthew, daughter of Mr. V.G. Matthew and Mrs. Joyce Matthew, 87% SSLC. Sharon Rayan P., daughter of Mr. Punida Rayan S. and Mrs. Nirmala K., 85% SSLC. Ashish Thomas, son of Mr. Xavier Thomas J. and Mrs. Joyce M., 94% SSLC. Lena Mary Fletcher, daughter of Mr. Fletcher and Mrs. Sheena George, 93.5% PUC. Deepika Navomani S., daughter of Mr. Alan Prem Kumar S. and Mrs. Sophia Prem Kumar, 84% BCom. Annie Sophia A., daughter of Mr. Andrews and Mrs. Priscilla Rani, 85% MCom. Congratulations to all the awardees of Our Lady of Velankani Parish, Mysore. Infant Jesus Mission Station, Udayanagar, Unsur. Chandini Odi, daughter of Mr. Devaya and Mrs. Seethamma, 91% B.Ed. Congratulations to the awardee of Infant Jesus Parish Mission Station, Udayanagar, Unsuru. Infant Jesus Cathedral, Inkal. Paul M. Sebi, son of Mr. Sebi MP and Mrs. Julie Sebi, 90% SSLC. Congratulations to the awardee of Infant Jesus Cathedral, Inkal. Infant Jesus Parish, T. Narsipura. C. Smriti Emmanuel, daughter of Mr. Christy Emmanuel and Mrs. Anita Christy, 86% PUC. Teresa Thomas, daughter of Mr. Thomas George and Mrs. Jeeti Thomas, 87% BCom. Congratulations to all the awardees of Infant Jesus Parish, T. Narsipura. St. Mary's Parish, HD Kote. Jacqueline Mary, daughter of Mr. Philomena Raj and Mrs. Amala, 83% B.Ed. Congratulations to the awardees of St. Mary's Parish, HD Kote. Infant Jesus Parish, Pushpagiri. Monal Jia Rasquina, daughter of Mr. Ivan Monin Rasquina and Mrs. Jacinta Rasquina, 91.4% SSLC. PUC. Monisha Josvita Rasquina, daughter of Mr. Ivan Monin Rasquina and Mrs. Jacinta Rasquina, 93.4% PUC. Sneha K., daughter of Mr. Kolande Swami R and Mrs. Antoni Ammal A, 90.85 PUC. Aditi Deepak, daughter of Mr. Deepak John and Mrs. Smita John, 83.67% PUC. Rupa Mary, daughter of Mr. Yesudas T and Mrs. Veronica R, 78% B.Ed. Janita Jasmine Aroja, daughter of Mr. Sebastian Aroja and Mrs. Rosie D'Souza, 91.50% B.Ed. Congratulations to all the awardees of Infant Jesus Parish, Pushpagiri.
Congratulations to all the toppers of the Mysore district. Now we have the award winners for the parishes of Kodagu and Mandya district. I request Mrs. Annie Jayashila and Dr. Andrew Richard to announce the names of the awardees of various parishes of Kodagu and Mandya district.
St. Sebastian's Parish, Chettalli, Kodagu. Dia Margaret, daughter of Mr. Pai KF and Mrs. Jolly Josephine, 98% SSLC. Vincy Joy J, son of Mr. Joy and Mrs. Shiny, 87% SSLC. Congratulations to the awardees of St. Sebastian's Parish, Chettalli, Kodagu. Our Lady of Victories Parish, Somwarpet. Jason Anthony, son of Mr. Anthony KJ and Mrs. Kosu Mary Emsos, 96% SSLC. Jenisha Oshel D'Souza, daughter of Mr. Baptist D'Souza and Mrs. Joyce D'Souza, 93% PUC. Tina Judith N.A., daughter of Mr. Nelson N.J. and Mrs. Magdalene Lobo, 91% PUC. Vikshita M., daughter of Mr. Marshall D'Souza and Mrs. Kumuda M., 86% PUC. Melvin D'Souza, son of Mr. Albert D'Souza and Mrs. Rosalind D'Souza, 85% PUC. Princita D'Souza, daughter of Mr. Lawrence D'Souza and Mrs. Emerentia Crasta, 86% PUC. Joynisha D'Souza, daughter of Mr. Edward D'Souza and Mrs. Jacinta Sequeira, 85% BTEC. Congratulations to all the awardees of Our Lady of Victories Parish, Somwarpet. St. Mary's Parish, Napoklu. Jasmine Vegas, daughter of Mr. Bobby Vegas and Mrs. Jacinta Mascarenas, 95% SSLC. Congratulations, Jasmine. St. Michael's Parish, Madikeri. Victor Vikith Lobo, son of Mr. Valerian Lobo and Mrs. Felicita Lobo, 86% SSLC. Ashit D'Souza, son of Mr. Anil D'Souza and Mrs. Leena Sumita Roach, 96% SSLC. Apachu S. Vadakedam, son of Mr. Sylvie Joseph and Mrs. Sophia, 93% SSLC. Alden Rosario, son of Mr. Anthony Rosario and Mrs. Seema Rosario, 88% SSLC. Anne Maria De Cruz, son of Mr. Francis De Cruz and Mrs. Bina KP, 90% PUC. Vineet Lobo, son of Mr. Valerian Lobo and Mrs. Felicita Lobo, 89% PUC. Jean PJ, daughter of Mr. James PP and Mrs. Antoniamma PJ, 88% PUC. Ron Chrysler KJ, son of Mr. KF Joseph and Mrs. Leena Joseph, 87% PUC. Jeshmi NJ, daughter of Mrs. Elizabeth Vinita PA and Mr. Baby Joseph NV, 96% PUC. Akshata Vegas, daughter of Mr. Michael Vegas and Mrs. Mary Vegas, 86% PUC. Primit D'Souza, son of Mr. Pius D'Souza and Mrs. Rassens Flavia Saldana, 86% MCA. Joyce PJ, daughter of Mr. P.T. John, 89% MCOM. Kirti Teresa, daughter of Mr. Sebastian and Mrs. Philomena Sebastian, 82% LLB. Congratulations to all the awardees of St. Michael's Parish, Madikeri. St. Anthony's Parish, Ponnampet. Glaxon Gallo B, son of Mr. Bindusara and Mrs. Benedicta Fernandez, 87% SSLC. Joseph Anthony M.A., son of Mr. Anthony M. and Mrs. Rosamma M.R., 88% MBA. Merlin Menezes, daughter of Mr. Manuel Menezes and Mrs. Lena Katie, 81% MCOM. Congratulations to all the awardees of St. Anthony's Parish, Ponnampet. Nirmala Mate Parish, Kutta. Helena M.A., daughter of Mr. Anthony M.L. and Mrs. Minnie K.J., 94% SSLC. Marina C.G., daughter of Mr. George C.R. and Mrs. Mabel N.L., 96% SSLC. Swedel D'Souza, daughter of Mr. Stephen D'Souza and Mrs. Smitha Lesrado, 93% SSLC. Ankita Brunet D'Souza, daughter of Mr. Alexander D'Souza and Mrs. Apolline D'Souza, 94% PUC. Shiny T, daughter of Mr. Thomas and Mrs. Jacinta Kumari, 81% BSc. Congratulations to all the awardees of Nirmala Mate Parish, Kutta. St. Anthony's Parish, RG. Nishma KM, daughter of Mr. Michael KA and Mrs. Bindu PJ, 95% SSLC. Congratulations, Nishma. St. Anthony's Parish, Ammati. Alvin KJ, son of Mr. Johnny KA and Mrs. Saramma, 97% SSLC. Jisha KJ, daughter of Mr. Joseph KJ and Mrs. Jessie KJ, 98% PUC. Renita Brito, daughter of Mr. Walter Brito and Mrs. Juliana Rita Paez, 86% PUC. George CJ, son of Mr. Johnson CG and Mrs. Viji CJ, 91% BCA. Congratulations to all the awardees of St. Anthony's Parish, Ammati. St. Anthony's Parish, Gopalpura. Joylyn Lobo, daughter of Mr. Joseph Lobo and Mrs. Helen Lobo, 91% SSLC. Anup J, son of Mr. James Evie and Mrs. Jansi Evie, 90% PUC. Janet Maria, daughter of Mr. George O.A. and Mrs. Jacqueline A.T., 90% M.Tech. Justin Clifford Rodriguez, son of Mr. Gerald Rodriguez and Mrs. Juliet Rodriguez, 80% MCA. Congratulations to all the awardees of St. Anthony's Parish, Gopalpura. St. Sebastian's Parish, Kushal Nagar. Dishal Morris, daughter of Mr. Harry Morris and Mrs. Mary D'Souza, 94% SSLC. Lishon Dias, son of Mr. Hubert Dias and Mrs. Sovereign D'Souza, 93% SSLC. Roshan Pinto, son of Mr. Johnson Pinto and Mrs. Rita Pinto, 92% SSLC. Samuel George KS, son of Mr. Simon KA and Mrs. Philomena Lissy KG, 92% SSLC. Vivian Castellino, son of Mr. Edwin Castellino and Mrs. Jyoti Castellino, 91% SSLC. Benita Lima, daughter of Mr. Wilson Lima and Mrs. Bindu MJ, 90% SSLC. Gretel DM, daughter of Mr. Murray Joseph and Mrs. Maria AV, 89% SSLC. Primit P. Joy, son of Mr. Paulson Joy and Mrs. Priya P. Joy, 87% SSLC. Vinolia Varghese, daughter of Mr. P.V. Varghese and Mrs. Annie Varghese, 94% SSLC. Amita Henry, daughter of Mr. Henry and Mrs. Elizabeth, 89% PUC. Joyce Lena VJ, daughter of Mr. Joseph Vandanath and Mrs. Josephine VJ, 92% PUC. Ritesh Rodriguez, son of Mr. Peter Rodriguez and Mrs. Cecilia Rodriguez, 84% BCom. Akash Patrick, son of Mr. Patrick Robert and Mrs. Rena Patrick, 93% BE. Renita Genevieve D'Souza, daughter of Mr. Jerome D'Souza and Mrs. Evelyn Lobo, 75% Master of Law. Chriselle Fernandez, daughter of Mr. Marcel Fernandez and Mrs. Mary Stella Fernandez, 85% BE. Congratulations to all the awardees of St. Sebastian's Parish, Kushalnagar. St. Anne's Parish, Virajpet. Glenn Avila D'Souza, daughter of Mr. Godwin Jacob D'Souza and Mrs. Arun Ansi D'Souza, 99% SSLC. Joyson De Silva, son of Mr. Jeffrey De Silva and Mrs. Lucincia Gonsalves, 96% SSLC. Samson Ian, son of Mr. Nelson EP and Mrs. Pramila Shalini, 95% SSLC. Alicia Ria D'Souza, son of Mr. Claude Maria D'Souza and Mrs. Joyce Lavin Castellino, 93% SSLC. Anne Mary Francis, daughter of Mr. Francis Matthew and Mrs. Manju Abraham, 94% SSLC. Deekshit CJ, son of Mr. Jonathan N and Mrs. Christina, 91% SSLC. Shreya Maria Anthony, daughter of Mr. Anthony TJ and Mrs. Rani Anthony, 91% SSLC. Denzel Ujwal Alvarez, son of Mr. Anthony Vivian Alvarez and Mrs. Anrita Furtado, 100% PUC. Stalin Pereira, son of Mr. Sebastian Pereira and Mrs. Cheryl D'Souza, 97% PUC. Shannon Pereira, daughter of Mr. Pereira Lawrence Herald and Mrs. Anita Pereira, 91% PUC. Jenita De Silva, daughter of Mr. Jeffrey De Silva and Mrs. Lucy Cynthia Gonsalves, 90% PUC. Deeksha D'Souza, daughter of Mr. Charles D'Souza and Mrs. Winnie Roach, 87% PUC. Leonard CJ, son of Mr. Joy CJ, 86% PUC. Alicia Vaz, daughter of Mr. Judy Vaz and Mrs. Murrells Jane D'Souza, 83% BE. Donna Saldana, daughter of Mr. Benedict R. Saldana, 75% BE. Ankita Lobo, daughter of Mr. Anthony Lobo and Mrs. Lena Lobo, 80% MBA. Annie PJ, daughter of Mr. Joseph PT and Mrs. Gracie KJ, 90% MCom. Anne Betty, daughter of Mr. Betty Joseph, 85% MSc. Sony PJ, daughter of Mr. Joseph PT and Mrs. Gracie KJ, 86% BSc. Jinsi PJ, daughter of Mr. Joseph PT and Mrs. Beena PT, 78% BCom. Mariam Mishma RG, daughter of Mr. George RT and Mrs. Mary RG, 81% BCom. Congratulations to all the awardees of St. Anne's Parish, Virajpet. St. Joseph's Parish, Siddhapura. Juliana D'Souza, daughter of Mr. James D'Souza and Mrs. Mariamma, 92% SSLC. Augustine F.V., son of Mr. Francis and Mrs. Teresa, 85% SSLC. Anne Mary Correa, daughter of Mr. Bruno Dennis Correa and Mrs. Shally Janet Correa, 85% SSLC. Pratibha Ann J., wife of Andrew PM, 76% B.Ed. Pramila M.R., wife of Viju Varghese, 87% D.Ed. Congratulations to all the awardees of St. Joseph's Parish, Siddhapura. St. Lawrence Parish, Aburkatte. Elvin Florent De Silva, daughter of Mr. Naveen Maxim De Silva and Mrs. Benedicta Flavia De Silva, 91% PUC. Congratulations, Elvin. Our Lady of Fatima Parish, Kedamullur. Clarita Fernandez, daughter of Mr. Stanley Fernandez and Mrs. Matilda De Souza, 88% B.Ed. Congratulations, Clarita. Nirmala Mate Parish, Madhapura. Nezita Carmel N.A., daughter of Mr. Augustine, 75% BCom. Congratulations, Nezita. Holy Family Parish, Kodiye. Nia Sunny, daughter of Mrs. Sunny Rita, 80% BCom. Congratulations, Nia.
St. Matthias Parish, Malavalli. Cynthia Angelina Pereira, daughter of Mr. Leona Pereira, 88% SSLC. Sunita Rani, daughter of Mr. Anbuti, 90% B.Ed. Rodriguez Das, son of Mr. Irdiraj and Mrs. Victoria Mary, 85% SSLC. Congratulations to the awardees of St. Matthias Parish, Malavalli. Brindavan Arogya Mate Parish, Ulikere. Sandra Maria, daughter of Mr. Anthony Pius and Mrs. Mary Josephine, 88% SSLC. Obed Emmanuel Vianney, son of Mr. John Maria Vianney MP and Mrs. Lily KJ, 95% PUC. Vanita Mai K, daughter of Mr. Manju Mai, 80% BCom. Congratulations to the awardees of Brindavan Arogya Mate Parish, Ulikere. St. Joseph's Parish, Mandya. Shashank Barbosa, son of Mr. Sunil Francis Barbosa and Mrs. Ruby Martha Barbosa, 92% SSLC. Tony Franklin A, son of Mr. Anthony Martin DS and Mrs. Rosemary TF, 89% SSLC. Infancy Dinna, daughter of Mr. Ambrose Teen and Mrs. Late Mercy Ambrose, 91% PUC. Shreya Barbosa, daughter of Mr. Sunil Francis Barbosa and Mrs. Ruby Martha Barbosa, 96% PUC. Divya R, daughter of Mr. Joseph and Mrs. Lissy, 92% B.Ed. Anita Menezes, daughter of Mr. Vincent Menezes and Mrs. Elizabeth, 77% BAC. Binusha Marina, daughter of Mr. Robert and Mrs. Jessie, 89% BBA. Lily Cinderella CM, daughter of Mr. Moses CV and Mrs. Sheila Moses, 92% BBA. Jacinta, daughter of Mr. Harish Babu Josephine and Mrs. Sushila, 79% Polytechnic. Congratulations to the awardees of St. Joseph's Parish, Mandya. Mary Mother of Humanity Parish, Mandya. Pritham D. Paul, son of Mr. Dayalu Uttaman and Mrs. Putrameena K, 89% SSLC. Dikshita Roy, son of Mr. Rayappa JC and Mrs. Jyoti R, 100% PUC. Rakshit Roy, son of Mr. Rayappa JC and Mrs. Jyoti R, 82% BCom. Congratulations to Mary Mother of Humanity Parish, Mandya. Immaculate Conception Parish, Ganjam. Ranita Rudaya, daughter of Mr. Rudayaraj M and Mrs. Vijay Kumari M, 85% SSLC. Stalin J, son of Mr. Jayashilan F and Mrs. Rosie, 85.9% SSLC. Congratulations, Immaculate Conception Parish, Ganjam, to all the awardees. Thank you.
A heartfelt thanks to all who have been guiding our children to obtain success today. Hard work always pays. We now conclude the award ceremony on a grateful note. Reverend Father Avinash Hechin, the administrator, will now propose the vote of thanks.
All glory and thanks be to God. Good evening, all. There is a famous saying, feeling gratitude and not expressing it is like wrapping a present and not giving it. Thanking is the kindest gesture one can show to the other. Today, we are truly gratified as we have a noble reason to be so. We are always up to the occasion. Education is the mightiest weapon. I congratulate all the meritorious students who graded their honor with the award from our distinguished personalities on behalf of the Diocese of Mysore. As we are at the end of this mega event, honoring the meritorious Catholic students of the Diocese of Mysore, it is a matter of joy for me to extend a great deal of gratitude to the Almighty and the many personnel who have been part of this wonderful evening. The Diocese of Mysore has a beautiful custom in which so many students are recognized for their academic excellence. By this, the diocese upholds the value of spreading knowledge and wisdom and the need for appreciating the hard work for the achievers. At the outset, it is an immense pleasure to have His Excellency, Most Reverend Dr. K.A. William, the Bishop of Mysore, with us. As the president of a large network of quality educational institutions in the 4 southern districts of Karnataka, His Excellency is always particular in initiating noteworthy programs in the field of education. His gracious presence and the presidential address have inspired and motivated us today. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. We are indeed privileged to listen to the power-packed oratory treat of His Excellency, Most Reverend Dr. Sebastian Edayanthan, the Bishop of Mandya. Your Lordship, we acknowledge and appreciate your kindness in accepting our invitation and engaging and enlightening us with a vast combination of ideas and wisdom. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. It adds great joy to us during this annual event to have His Excellency, Most Reverend Dr. Thomas Anthony Valapalli, Bishop Emeritus, Diocese of Mysore, amidst us. Your continued support and appreciation is invaluable to the Diocese of Mysore. Thank you, dear Lordship. We wholeheartedly thank Reverend Father Vijay Kumar, Secretary and Correspondent, MDES, for his meticulous planning and for helping us in executing the event successfully today. Thank you, dear Father. On this occasion, I express my heartfelt gratitude to Reverend Father Joseph Pakiraj, the Chancellor of the Diocese, Reverend Father Suse, Director of Catechism, Diocese of Mysore, and all the priests and the religious who are present here and are attending the program virtually. I thank all of you. I would like to specially thank Reverend Dr. Bernard Prakash Barnis, the Rector of St. Philomena's College, Mysore, who generously collaborated and supported in hosting this event. He was so proactive in facilitating all the technical and logistic requirements needed for the smooth conduct of this virtual program. Thank you very much, dear Father. I would like to thank the 3 CEOs of Mysore Diocesan Educational Society, Mr. Moses Jayashekhar, CEOs of MDES, Mrs. Joyce Lobo, CEOs of St. Joseph's and Matthias Institution, Mysore, and Mr. Sebi Maveli, CEO Training and Development, MDES, for their timely and continued guidance for this event. Thank you, dear sir. I would like to express my heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Priya Matthew, the Principal of St. Joseph's College of Education, Jayalakshmipuram, Mr. Chandrasekhar and Mrs. Shilpa, the in-charge principals of St. Joseph First Grade College, Jayalakshmipuram, Mrs. Pushpa, the in-charge principal of St. Joseph's College for Women, Sathkalli, Dr. Anto Richard, the principal of St. Joseph U College, Jayalakshmipuram, Mrs. Christina P. Taylor, the principal, St. Joseph U College for Girls, Sathkalli, and Mr. Anthony Raj, the principal, St. Joseph U College, Rajiv Nagar. I would like to acknowledge the commendable job done by the teachers, the staffs, and the students through various committees who have been an integral part in planning and executing this event meticulously and successfully. Thank you, dear principals, staff, and the students. This evening is meaningful only because of our awardees who have participated in this award ceremony in different places together with their parents, relatives, and friends. Thank you, dear awardees. I would like to express my gratitude to the coordinators of this event. I also thank Mr. Karthik and team for their videography and media coverage, Mr. Arimuthu and Mr. Ashwath for technical support, Mr. Vishwanath Pandit for the photography coverage, and Mr. Santosh for the catering service. Thank you all. The MC of this evening, Ms. Christina Taylor, the principal of St. Joseph's PU College for Girls, Sathkalli, has done an excellent job. Thank you, ma'am. Dear awardees, award is a way to say that you deserve the honor and your learning does not stop with this. When one is awarded, it comes along the statement that success is not the destination, it is a journey. Today, you are awarded for your smart work, and that is what is expected. Keep learning and keep excelling. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, Father. We thank you for your contribution behind the screen. It was a wonderful evening today. Dear students, please feel proud and grateful when you receive your award from the parish priest. We request the respective parish priests to distribute the awards to the achievers. On behalf of the Mysore Diocese, we wholeheartedly thank you. All good things must come to an end. We hope the next year we meet again in person. Until then, we wish you all good health. I request you all to rise for the national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गाथा जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Thank you, one and all. God bless. I request you all to keep standing as the dignitaries will leave the hall.